As many of you know, the Omen is a new Abyssal Tier C monster in Arcane Odyssey. It's intended to be fought with multiple people, and the monster is being labeled as a raid boss. However, I found every fight with the Omen to be very lackluster, and it kept me wanting for a more engaging encounter. If you don't already know, the Omen can be killed very easily if you just sit near a volcano island, wait for him to spawn, and it can be done with any amount of people, as I've done it solo and with a group of 15. However, the more people you have, the greater the spawn rates are. So it's just better to go with more people so you're not waiting 2 hours to wait for this guy to spawn. The spawn rates are just miserable sometimes. But when he does eventually spawn, the fight is disappointing. He has a lot of health and the giant cloud piercing tentacles are pretty cool. But it's just not an engaging fight whatsoever. It's basically just a Kraken that was resized, recolored, same attacks, same experience, it's just bigger. And as of now, anyone could kill the Omen if they tried. Just throw together a range build, head out to the far reaches, and boom, Omen dead. But what if the fight was actually fun?
Yeah, behind you. I've been wanting to get a 9.
Really cool title, okay? And then to make the Omen fight fun, we first need to identify what makes it not fun. My current list is waiting for it to spawn. It's way too easy to cheese. There's no fear or emotion conveyed to the player, and it's just a boring fight overall. These problems may seem pretty vague, but that's because most of them are vague. It's just the problems that it has. It's boring fight. That's just it. It's just boring. So to fix the issue of waiting for it to spawn, give the Omen a designated spawn point. It would work very similarly to the Epicenter, as it would spawn in when the server is created. However, you'll be able to use the new sensing feature to sense the Omen's terrifying presence from the war seas, allowing teams to find the Omen much easier and removing the hours of wait times for this thing to spawn. Once the Omen is defeated, a new one will spawn in a different spot, prompting teams to go back to the war seas so they can search for it again. Now, I'm gonna just start throwing out ideas that I think are cool here, so just bear with me, okay? Because there's no shot that this is going to be added, but I just think if they took a genuine raid approach to this boss, it would be much more fun, and it would be much more interesting, and I would actually want to fight it for to actually have fun, instead of sit there and get a piece of loot and oh, I'm gonna sell this on the auction house, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make 100k really quick. No, I want a fun boss. So, to solve the rest of the issues, make the Omen spawn point an island. Once a player steps onto the island, the Omen's giant tentacles form a circle around the island, while one of the tentacles sinks any ships nearby so nobody can escape, so it cannot be cheesed. The Omen spawning is accompanied by high-level Atlanteans on the island, and there's going to be one Atlantean for each player in the area. Once all the Atlanteans are cleared, players can now focus on damaging the Omen, while the Omen retaliates with attacks that you can actually see, like slamming the island so players are forced to parry or else they suffer heavy damage. When players deal around 10% of the Omen's health, a new island rises up from the ocean, and players are forced to move to the new island before the Omen devours the old one, sinking it into the water. Then, the cycle resets, having the players fight Atlanteans before focusing the boss again. This cycle creates a mess of chaos for teams as they need to communicate and try to deal with these Atlanteans while also moving from island to island. This also stops people from bringing an absurd number of people to the fight, as they run the risk of not being able to kill the Atlanteans. The major turning point of the fight is at the 25% health remaining mark, where a giant spire-like island appears and players are forced to climb up to the top, as the Omen will create a giant wave that'll push anyone who isn't at the top into the water, so they die. After the wave passes, a normal island will spawn, and the team has to carefully platform down the spire as they risk dying to fall damage. This island will be the final stand. Weaker Atlanteans will spawn, but they will constantly spawn. This can cause teams to separate jobs. One damages the boss, another deals with Atlanteans. This will create a really intense atmosphere which forces everyone to stay focused and calm, or else they will ruin it for everybody. After the Omen is killed, a new island will rise that has a chest that works like the Fort Castrum one, where you get a bunch of other chests in it, inside of it, and they'll all be rare because it's a lot more difficult than the fight we have now, so the reward definitely needs to be buffed. But but you also get the Omen gear and all that, you know, just for killing the Omen. But like the chests are just a bonus because it'll be much more challenging with this extra stuff. Anyway, that's just like my thoughts on it. Obviously, this will never be added. This is probably going to use too many resources in the game, and the game is already laggy as is. So with all this other stuff going on, I'm probably going to be running like 5 frames per second, but it's nice to dream. You know, I like teamwork, you know. I just thought this Omen raid would be a lot more fun. Like it was advertised as like this big thing. It's going to be really difficult, and beating it first try by myself was just kind of like, that was really boring. Like I wish it was more. I wish it was more interesting. I wish if I brought more people, like I had to communicate with everybody, and like it would just be more fun if it was just a genuinely difficult encounter. Because I thought the Omen Slayer would be like this really rare title. Like everyone who has it is like some demon at PvE, but like it's like handing out like candy now. It's nothing. I really hope that the next raid boss, which I think will be the Dragon Rider, I'm thinking, like the Epicenter Dragon. I think they talked about that. I don't know. I know there's gonna be more raid bosses, I hope, and I'm hoping it's a dragon. And just please make it an actual raid encounter, or rework the Omen or something. Make it more fun, because this is miserable, bro. Like fighting the same guy that does like no damage half the time, and just go to an island, do whatever. Like it's boring. I want teamwork. I want chaos. I want fun. That's what makes it fun. But you know, drop what you think in the comments. You know, agree with me, disagree with me. I'll talk with you. I'll see what you want to say. I don't know. I don't know how to end this. Okay.